Now off to the flowers. I call these poisonous stick. No, I forgot one. That's an also flowered-shaped leaf one. We have the poisonous daisies over here. Yeah!
Loud upon our house, the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for miles, our stern allowance changed to
Careless whisper, George Michael. Just da 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 da. I can't sing. Da 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 da. Floating off. Yeah.
Think about I'm in the I feel like I'm in the galaxy. I started to feel like I've been turning blue. When I'm not asleep, I always play with my teddy bears. Well, I dream unicorns, stars, the moon.
I start thinking about vast skies full of stars and moons and maybe kind of comets and shooting stars, but the moon and then the open water, and then
some nights it can be like a dream of lust or something like that, it'll be like thinking about lovers, stuff like that.
Hey, my horn is broken. Well, imagine your horn was never broken. I feel when I go to something warm, I always fall right asleep.
I know exactly the moment when I'm about to fall asleep. I can feel it. I'd say like about a couple of minutes before, and it feels like, sinking into velvet water. Like it's very soft, but it's not actually a material, it's just that's how it feels. And it's not negative, it's positive. It feels very nice, very calming, very zen. Zen is a very, good word for it, I would say.
In my head, I wish for a unicorn right now. And I feel like I had superpowers, and then I had superpowers. Although, I was wishing that I can catch the stars, but I can't. When it's a bad day, I usually have nightmares when it was my bad day.
I guess sometimes anxious about it because I've always had trouble falling asleep. That sometimes I think like, oh, I have to fall asleep now. I have to fall asleep now, and if I don't, then it will be 3 a.m. and I'll still be awake thinking, I really need to fall asleep now.
You need to rush to sleep because you gotta get up super early the next day. Then you're like, hey, I'm too wired from, let's say, I've had a really exciting day and I don't want it to stop. Or I'm thinking too much about certain things, like not necessarily obsessing over things, but thinking, and I can't switch off the thinking brain.
the act of going to sleep is why I start thinking, because I don't have to think about them, because I'm just going to float off to sleep. And so I empty myself of them, I think. That's how I sleep.
Things that are more likely to come up are especially people, because I mean it's people that make, you know, your day or break your day. People make the world go round, literally. So yeah, as it's not going to be something that I ate for breakfast that comes up in my mind and be like, oh my, that banana was quite peculiar, wasn't it? It's going to be more like, oh yeah, that was a weird encounter today, or like, I can't believe this person said that and I didn't say anything back, or like things like that.
I'm sometimes scared of the dark. But now I'm not. Now I'm afraid of heights.
I've never been able to sleep in a dark room, on my own especially. I don't think I ever will. Something about the darkness that's just no bueno.
I don't get bad dreams anymore. I used to have terrible dreams sometimes. Don't think I've had a bad dream for 20 years.
I always sleep with my sister. Because my sister is the only one that likes me the most. I mean, she usually hugs me. And when I was born, she was like, yes, now I have a little sister. Now I don't need to be alone now, yes!
I like the warmth of another person in the same bed. I think that's really important. Not all the time, but sometimes. That kind of feeling of belonging that you get. Coziness, yeah. That makes me sleep, coziness as well.
It was the time of day, night that I looked most forward to. I mean, there was just something incredible about falling asleep with someone. And I really, really loved that feeling. And it felt very intimate and loving, and knowing that he would be there in the morning when I woke up.
The only thing I don't like about it is when they do try and fall asleep before me, because, man, just no. I try and actually, like, keep them awake until I'm tired enough to fall asleep first, which is so selfish, but otherwise I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a nightmare if they fall asleep before me.
You have your dreams, like you imagine that your dreams come to life. Like you're not your nightmares, but your dreams.
It feels like if you're sinking while being on the same spot, it's kind of like, almost like sinking into a vacuum, but not. Soundless. Absolutely soundless. Like, literally, you know how if you had like unnaturally taken away all the sound, that kind of like distinct lack of sound, that's how it would sound. Like there's no background noise, no ambience, nothing, just silent, like absolutely silent.
I start sort of feeling like I'm going to float. I can feel my body's kind of sinking and sort of like slowly falling through the atmosphere, I would say.
I sometimes get that image as well. Yeah, a journey, kind of like the bed literally flying out of this roof. And that idea of like, yeah, flying above London, flying above that sense of like journey. And the leaves, yeah, the sort of sense of the trees outside sort of being a part of that, like almost like calling you. Yeah. I suppose it's a space where feelings can get magnified, or that your distance from them, you're much closer to those feelings.
Like the deeper I get into sleep, or the closer I get to sleep, it seems like there's a space for thinking about kind of bit bigger life things, or thinking about life, death. My grandmother passed away last year, and so she's been kind of on my mind. I think I think about her in a kind of abstract way. It's not about remembering her, it's about that she's kind of there. She's floating around somewhere in my subconscious.
Sleep.